AJ, man.
AJ, fuck. Sorry. Yeah, AJ. Interviews just come out. First time we quick on something. So let's get this clip out. Let's get this clip out ASAP. I'm going to clip it and put it on Instagram ASAP because...
So if you don't know what we're talking about, AJ is sat down with our boy Kugan. We'll put up a picture of Sam and Kugan together with their boys. And yeah, they've sat down for the first time properly and like had a chat. I think they were saying like the last time was fucking around the Dillian White fight, like, or something. Like the last time they properly sat down instead of just like doing like a normal media day kind of interview.
Yeah.
So it's basically, it's quite refreshing to see him in that like environment rather than getting ready for a fight and like going through the same questions. It was more like Joshua leading the conversation rather than the media leading the conversation. And I think he was kind of trying to find out what the public are thinking through obviously Kugan and like his media outlet. But what did you think of the interview then? Because I just finished watching it before this.
To be honest with you, I kind of skipped through it a little bit. It seemed a little bit waffly to me. But I basically skipped to the point where all I wanted to know is he looking to change trainers? And I skipped to that bit. And to be honest, the way he's talking, I think he's looking to move away from Rob McCracken going to the States, and he's talking about Canelo's coach. He had his hat on. Canelo's coach is no boxing, no life, his hat on. And then he was talking about Mikey, one of the Garcia coaches, and this coach and that coach, having so much experience. I feel like he thinks he needs to change trainers, and maybe have Rob Kraken involved, but not as maybe.
You call him Kraken?
Rob Kraken. Keep him involved, but maybe not as the main guy. What do you reckon? I don't know. I kind of skipped it. I'll be honest.
I basically listened to it, and he says that he's still going to have Rob McCracken as head coach.
Yeah.
But he says he wants to go to America regularly and work with these different coaches like Eddie Reynoso, Canelo's coach and stuff.
Yeah.
He basically, in his last trip, he summarized that he'd done like 2 days with each of the coaches there, like Reynoso, Garcia, etc. And he was just talking about taking bits from each, but he kind of wanted to narrow down which of those trainers he wants to also work with, because he was like, since he's got into boxing, he's only ever worked with 2 people really, and that's the Finchley Amateur Boxing Club, and then obviously the GB setup with Rob McCracken and stuff. I think he basically said that he's trying to see if they can all work together cohesively, like Rob McCracken and the trainers in America, and trying to get some kind of thing going where he goes and samples a little bit from each. And he said if it doesn't work, then he might not have Rob as his head coach. So he just said we're in that kind of stage of just finding out what's working and what's not working.
Yeah.
But I think it was interesting. He spoke a little bit about obviously Fury as well, and then how obviously Sugar Hill and the whole Kronk styles worked out really well for him. I think he's basically taken a lot from that in terms of he's worked with all these people, but he's went out and picked up more of these skills. He added to his game. He added a different dimension. And maybe that's what got him through that trilogy. So it's not a kind of disloyal thing. It's more of I need to go out there and look at how I can make myself a better fighter, which I think he's doing, which is, props to him. I think is pretty good. And the only other thing is he was a bit fuming at, obviously, some other heavyweights saying that, AJ shouldn't take the fight straight away. You should have a warm-up fight and stuff. And he was just like, what kind of fucking champions are you? Like, what kind of fighters are you telling me to take warm-up fights? Like, I just want to fight the best, etc., etc.
Yeah. Compared to AJ, I mean, he's like, if you look at his people he's fought compared to Fury, he's fought a lot of harder competition. And he's always, willing to fight and stuff like that. But do you think that someone like Rob McCracken, GB coach, this and that, will be sort of his ego will get in the way of him kind of working with these other coaches and not being able to work together, because he's probably thinking, I've brought this guy up now, these that are going to take credit for it, and he's probably used to being the head guy, so I don't think that kind of stuff might not work. I think Fury is different with like his dad was his trainer really.
The only thing I'd say about that is that even if Rob McCracken is like that, that's a benefit for AJ either way, because then he finds out that he doesn't have the best interest at heart for AJ, because at the end of the day, if he really wants AJ to win this next fight, he should be willing for him to go out there and like obviously hone his skills, pick up different techniques and so forth. So if he's just like, oh, I don't want to work with this person, like you don't need new trainers, then I don't think he has AJ's best interests at heart anyway. So
but it happens like, you know, I don't actually think it's this law, because it happens in like UFC, for example, like Darren Till, everyone's saying he just needs to go to AKA for like 6 months, get his wrestling up.
That's it, but then no one's saying to him at the end of the day, "Oh, you should leave Colin behind."
Yeah.
We're still talking about Darren Till. They're not saying, "Oh, leave your previous trainer behind." They're just saying maybe go and train with someone else for a bit, and you might learn something new. Like at the end of the day, you're always learning. Like even AJ, like in terms of if you look at an amateur career, Usyk's amateur career is massive compared to AJ's amateur career. Usyk's for all different kinds of styles. He's seen a lot. AJ's kind of been learning on the job since his pro debut. So if he goes out there and goes to visit these gyms, he might see styles that he hasn't seen before, and he might pick up new techniques that he's not obviously used before in the ring. So I think it can only be beneficial, man. I don't see what he's got to lose from it. Like he's been with Rob for ages. He's probably mastered the style that Rob wants him to have. So go experiment and try something new. The only thing for me is it long enough? If the fight's in February
it's hard, or March,
man. Is it long enough to pick up a whole new style? Obviously, we saw it with Tyson Fury between Wilder 1 and Wilder 2 with the Kronk style, but that's down to AJ again. But he doesn't strike me as somebody who's not willing to learn. I feel like he's a guy that wants to learn and he's willing to put in the hard work. Just from the conversations me and him have had. So, But fair play to AJ, man. I think he's doing the right thing. I think he's going about this the right way. No excuses, no bullshit. Just put in the graft and fucking change what you need to change, man.
Yeah.